Kevin here with a comparison video for you. I think this is going to be a lot of fun. I've got two fantastic knives that I want to put side by side with you guys. Both of these are knives that I like a whole lot, and both of them I think represent the best or one of the best expressions of what their respective makers can do. So we've got the Wee Knives Malice here, and we've got the Reate Torrent. Both of these are of course Chinese manufacturers and are really doing about the best work of the overseas producers. You guys know, if you've been around this channel at all, that this is pretty well my standard example of a high-end titanium frame lock. Like, if someone comes to me and says, "Hey, Kevin, I want something really cool, really high-end, really well put together, but I don't have any strong preferences," I'm going to lean toward the Reate every time. I just think this is a great example of what a high-end knife should really be about. And so we're going to consider this to be sort of the reigning champ, and maybe look at the Wii as coming in to challenge that, and see if it can unseat the Torrent. And I don't know if it can or not, but I will say I love this knife a lot. And I don't know if my review will come out first or this video will come out first, but if not, I did give this a very, very positive review. And so I really, really enjoy both of these knives a ton. We're going to compare a number of different things. They're very, very similar in a lot of ways. I guess one thing I should point out is that this is an in-house design. Well, this is not. This is a collaboration with Ferrum Forge for Wee Knives. This one did come out of Reate, I don't know, out of the mind of David Dang or someone else over there. So let's go ahead and get into this, beginning with size and weight, which are actually quite similar. So this guy is 8.5 inches. This is the larger of the two. This one only coming in at 8 3/16, so just a little over 8 inches. We've got 3 5/8 on blade length, 3.5 inches on blade length over here. Obviously, you're losing a little for both of these choils. Then for handle length, closed length, so if I close both of these up, we're dealing with, now here you can see a bit more of a significant difference. All right, this guy is almost 5 inches long, coming in at 4 7/8. Well, this is 4 5/8, so just over 4.5 inches. So it's actually a fairly short knife for the size of the blade, and the blade to handle ratio is pretty nice on this guy. Let's open these guys back up, and I'll give you grip area, which is actually fairly similar on these. So here we have 3 7/8 grip area. That's on the Malice, and up here we have the same 3 7/8 as well. I guess I should have remembered those numbers, but I'm working from my notes here. So anyway, we've got the same grip area, and we actually have a very similar weight. One of the comments I made, this is a pretty short, stocky knife, and keep in mind it is smaller than the Torrent, but it weighs more. So 6.1 ounces and 5.97 ounces on the Torrent. So very, very close in weight. In fact, those numbers are too close for a human being to notice by picking them up. And so, in terms of how these two carry, they both carry about the same, and the overall size and weight is so close that I think I've got to call this first section a tie. Okay, neither one of these stand out as being, way lighter than the other, or having a way better blade to handle ratio, or any of those features that we care about when it comes to how big our knife is and how difficult it is to carry. So I'm going to go with a tie on this first comparison, but perhaps, maybe there's some other consideration that you're thinking of. You like the fact that even though this one's a little bigger, it weighs less or something like that. So for you, maybe there's a clear winner here, but for me, there really isn't. All right, let's move on to the blade. The blade is the place where you're going to see one of the bigger differences. So this is the Reate Torrent blade. We've got this M390 blade, beautiful, beautiful grinder satin on the primary bevel as well as on the swedge, which I think makes a great contrast with the stonewash here on the flats. Nice thin edge geometry, M390 steel, and a really, really well balanced blade. So nice, sort of strikes that really nice middle ground between having good cutting performance and being still tough and durable and reliable. Move over here to the Malice, and we have, I'm going to say, a lot of the same things. Okay, M390 steel, really nice grind. Now the higher grind here is going to make the cutting performance a little bit better in terms of slicing ability. Okay, not just because, you've got, if you put these side by side, you can see how much further this goes. Now the blade stock you can see is not that much different. Both are pretty robust, stocky blades, but this one, because of the more gradual wedge there, is going to slice a little bit better. Now, on the trade-off side of that, if you don't want a blade that has all belly, then maybe you lean toward the Reate and then you have a little bit more versatility in that regard. In terms of the winner for me, man, it's a tough call, but I think I've got to go with the Reate here. And the reason I go with the Reate is just that little extra versatility and the slightly nicer design. Now, in terms of cutting power, these are so close that I couldn't really declare a clear winner, although let me grant that this will slice marginally better. Okay, so I'll grant that. But in terms of just the detail and the overall look and how it fits with the knife, I do like the Reate just a little bit better. Again, there's some subjectivity there, okay? Performance, just straight up performance, these are very close, and you could almost call it a tie, but I lean a little bit toward the Reate because of that extra little detail and because of that slightly nicer satin finish on the Reate than the Wii has. So let's move now down to the lockup and deployment. Again, we're dealing with really well done knives. One of the things that we always look for on a higher end knife is that really nice, smooth, fast action, nice and drop shut, and both of these do a great job. They really do. This one's a little snappier and just a little cleaner. And so now, by the way, this is dual row ceramic. This is single row ceramic. Both are, man, both are so good. Now, I will point this out. One thing, both of them have the detent just dialed right in. One significant difference is that the Malice allows you to spidey flick, okay, or to thumb roll the knife open. Well, that is not going to be an option on the Torrent. It's pretty much flipper deployed only. You might be able to, yeah, I can sort of get these to work as thumb studs, but they're not designed as thumb studs, and they really don't work well. In fact, they're quite smooth. So when it comes to trying to get a grip on there and deploy the knife, they don't work well. And it's because they weren't designed to function that way, or to necessarily function that way. In terms of the smoothness, they're both great. Lockup is solid as a rock on both of these. The detent is very dialed in on both. In terms, I guess the thing that I can point out here is when you kind of just feel this and you feel the smoothness of it and the cleanness of it, it's just a slight improvement over the Malice. However, the Malice stands out because of the fact that it's got the extra deployment options. So I've got to give the win to the Malice here because in addition to flipper deployment, you can also spidey flick this. And I'm a guy who likes to spidey flick my knives a lot. The other thing is if you're in a public place and you want to just kind of quietly open your knife without making a big deal out of it, that ability to open with the thumb and kind of roll it open carefully is, I think, considerable. So while I'm going with the blade here, I've got to give lockup and deployment to the Malice. If we were just talking about flipper deployment, maybe I would lean a little bit toward the Reate because it is so perfect. It has one of the nicest feeling actions out there. The Malice is so close, though, that it's not, I mean, it's just really neck and neck in that department. Where the Malice comes ahead, in my mind anyway, is the fact that you've got those other deployment options. All right. So we're going to give it to the, hold on, I need to, anyway, that's fine. I was going to mark down, I've been marking little check marks on my notes as I go along, but I've missed, my pen's out of reach, so let's just leave it at that. Finally, let's move down to the handle construction and ergonomics. So this one is going to be really tough because part of this is going to be aesthetics. I will say this, the Malice is a little bit cleaner, a little bit simpler. Now, having said that, the Torrent I find to be beautiful. All right, I just love this design. I just find everything flows. I love the little pop of color that comes from the blue hardware. I like the milling lines that are left here. I love this backspacer. Okay, really well done. And then we move over to the clip, and again, really nicely done. A bit of a pattern here, just a little touch of detail, and then that ceramic ball. this handle is really, really something special, and I think it strikes nearly a perfect balance in terms of being simple enough that it doesn't overpower you, but it's also got those little details that make you stop and appreciate the craftsmanship of this and the attention to detail that's gone into it. Moving over to the Malice, still a great design. It's clean, it's simple, it's elegant, nicely milled clip, really nice finish here. Now, by the way, this is available in a flame ano, which might change things up a little bit. Um, for me, this is a great knife from We Knives. I love the simplicity of it. I love the clean lines that it has. But somewhere, somehow, I would have liked to see just a touch of detail. All right, so maybe we anodize the backspacer. Maybe, the pocket clip has done something cool or unique or special. Just some little touch somewhere that adds a little bit of visual interest, that adds a detail that makes me stop and have to look a little bit closer. The other thing is, if we take a look inside of here, it's nicely it's got some nice internal milling to save weight. Over here, we don't have that milling at all, okay? And by the way, that could have been a real, that could have made a difference. When we did size and weight comparison, if this had internal milling, it very well could have kind of pulled an extra point from that part, but because there's no milling, it ends up being heavier than the Torrent and loses out a little bit there. So, for all of those reasons, I've got to give the handle both construction because of the milling and the aesthetics of it to the Reate. Now, we haven't touched on ergonomics yet. So moving to ergonomics, that's where things might get a little more difficult because the 3D contouring on this titanium, the nice generous finger choil here, this is a knife that really feels great in hand. Moving up here, this knife feels good as well. I like the addition of a bit of a thumb ramp there. Both of them you can choke up and get some work done from that direction. This is just a little more positive in terms of its grip. It's got a little more, it inspires just a little more confidence, although the Wii is probably a little more comfortable. And so that's a tough one. I don't really know where they are ergonomically. They're definitely very different feeling in hand, but I can't really say that one is so much better than the other. All right, so from a construction design standpoint, I've got to go with the Reate. From an ergonomic standpoint, I think it's fair to give it to the Malice because it is just a little more rounded and probably, matches your hand just, I don't know, a little bit nicer, although it's close. I like the feel of the Reate in hand, very confidence inspiring. So one extra point for each of these as we kind of break down the ergonomics here, and I'm considering, of course, some aesthetic features as well. Now, having gone through all of that discussion, where does that leave us? First of all, if you want, I'd love to hear you put down in the comments below what you think of the knife. Note the time, okay, 3:35 in, before I've given my conclusion. I would love to hear your conclusion. But now let me go ahead and tell you where I come down on these two. There is a bit of an X factor that I think comes into this. And I've got to say, both of these are very compelling and very enjoyable. I carry both of these. I like both of these. When I go into my room where I've got essentially it's a modified picture frame where I put my knives in sort of a display case thing. It's a real toss-up when I look at which one of these I'm going to carry on any given day. I do lean toward the Reate just a little. Okay, and if I was, if you held the gun to my head and said, you must give up one of these knives, I'm going to give up the Wii before I give up the Reate. In a perfect world, I don't have to give them up, and I really enjoy both, and I carry both. But I do like the Reate just a hair more. Maybe it's because it's been with me longer. To me, I feel like it's more just that little touch of class and that little extra bit of detail. The anodizing here, the slightly nicer grind lines, the stonewash on the flats, all of those little things just add a touch of detail into the Torrent that isn't quite to the same level on the Malice. And I think here's the challenge. We Knives loves to go above and beyond with detail. They go crazy with milling and anodizing colors and all kinds of things, and they often go too far with it. It feels to me, and you guys can feel free to disagree with me, but it feels to me that Reate is better at balancing, at walking that fine line between putting in just enough, just a touch of detail that makes you want to stop and take a close look at this knife, where I don't get the same impression from this one. So that's my conclusion. I'm going to take the Reate, but boy, these are so close. Let me know if there are any other knives that you would like to see compared like this. One that I do have on my list coming up is going to be the Reate versus the Koenig Arius, because it's sort of, my favorite overseas modern knife versus one of my favorite US produced knives. So that'll be coming up. If I haven't said it already, go over to White Mountain Knives, use my discount code SHARPSTUFF to save yourself a bit of money on one or both of these. They may not be specifically in stock over at White Mountain Knives, but Justin always has a pretty good lineup of Wii models and Reate models over there. So go ahead and check that out. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe. And again, I'd love to hear your feedback down below.